So, good morning, everyone. We'll start with the Indian polity lecture today. And in the Indian polity lecture, we will be starting with the Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. Gentlemen, we are starting with the Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. Basically, this Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, it actually talks about the right to equality. Basically, it talks about the right to equality, and this article is having so many clauses which represent different kind of essence, right? Like Article 14 clause 1 of the Indian Constitution, it basically talks about the equality before law. Equality before law. So, before starting this equality before law and Article 14 in a complete sense, we'll be first understanding what is the meaning of equality. What is the meaning of equality? Okay. Let's just take up one example here that two people are there. Right? Two people are there. He's A and he's B. All right. They want to jump in the sky. They want to jump in the sky and want to touch this C point by jumping, right? So both of them, because both of them standing on the same ground, both of them are standing on the same ground, that means both will be having the same opportunity and same chances of touching this point C. This is something, gentlemen, we call it as the equality, right? And equality, basically, not only equality is social equality, it is all about social equality. It is all about economic equality. It is all about the political equality, social, economic, and political. All kind of equality is actually guaranteed by our constitution, and it is being told by the preamble of the constitution, right? In the preamble of the constitution, the social, economic, and political equality is being emphasized, right? So basically, gentlemen, equality is given to us under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. And under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, under Article 14 clause 1, equality before law is actually being emphasized upon. So let's just understand what is this equality before law, right? Another concept of this equality is equal protection of law as well. This is also one of the concepts which is being given under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. Now, many students feel very difficulty in understanding these two concepts and what are the difference between these two concepts. So we will understand these two concepts one by one. Equality before law means, let's just say, in the ancient time, the ruler would be a king, would be a monarch, and monarch would make some of the rules. Monarch would make some of the rules for his, for his people whom he is ruling. And he would say that the people, let's say P1, P2, P3, in such a manner, all the people of his, this kingdom, they all will be equally obligated towards the ruler. That means they all will have the equal obligation towards the ruler. Whatever ruler will decide, they all will have to follow, right? That means king is the law. King is the law, right? Rex lex. Generally, we call this statement as rex lex, right? But because of this system, the ruler, he would, because of the monarchy, he would take the wrong decisions, which would actually be arbitrary in sense of the, he would take arbitrary decisions which were actually not favorable for his people sometimes. So that is why many scholars came and they emphasize, many scholars including Aristotle, Plato, Montesquieu, many scholars came in Europe and they emphasized upon rule of law. They emphasized upon rule of law. They said instead of making any, instead of giving supreme power to a ruler, give a supreme power to the law. That means this rule of law concept said that law is supreme. Law is supreme and not this ruler. Law is supreme. That means now there will be, according to the rule of law, there will be the kingdom of law. Law will be the king. Then the statement came, lex rex. That means law is king. And before this law, all will be having the equal obligations. Now all the people will follow the law, which is actually made for the, for in the favor of the country, for the favor or in the favor of the nation. So now the law is king. Now no ruler can do his dictate, can mandate his dictate. Now the only ruler is the law. Only the law is the ruler, right? And each and everyone have to follow this law. Whether it is P1, P2 or P3, anyone is there in the kingdom, in the nation, in the country, everyone will have to follow the law. So now what we got to understand from the concept of this equality before law, that no one is supreme. No one is supreme before the law. Second concept, what we understood from the explained concept, no privilege. No privilege before law. That means no one enjoy any privilege before the land of the law. Third and most important thing, equal subjection. Gentlemen, equal subjection of all people before the law of land. That means everyone in the country will have the equal obligations before the law of land. That means if I follow the law, you will follow the law, and the another person will also follow the law. If law treat me in one manner, then that law treat each and everyone in the same manner. And we can also say that law treats all in same manner. This is the concept of equality before law. So now, till now, we have understood the concept of Equality before the law. Now we will be understanding then what is the meaning of equal protection of law, gentlemen. We'll be understanding this concept as well. Equal protection of law. Basically, we understood in the equality before law. What we understood in the equality before law? In the equality before law, we understood that law is supreme and law is equal for each and everyone. Law is equal for each and everyone. This concept of equal protection of law, this concept of equal protection of law not only follows this concept EBL. Yes, EBL follow this concept of EBL, equality before law, but also it says that law is, it says that equal protection of law says that I understand that law is equal for each and everyone, but it also adds that reasonable distinction is also allowed. Reasonable distinction is also allowed. Now, what is this reasonable distinction? We will understand from the concept below, which I am explaining right now. Now, in the Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, basically, what is the definition of Article 14 given here? Article 14 basically says that no person state so what does this Article 14 say? That no person will be denied. No person is actually a word which shall be keep in the asterisks. No person will be denied equal protection of law and equality before law by the state. State will not deny anyone these two things, that is equal protection of law and equality before law. No one will be denied with these rights. These rights are being given to each and everyone. Now, no person means that definition encompasses citizens as well as non-citizens. Now, what are the obligation of citizen and non-citizen? We will understand this in the citizenship chapter separately. But as of now, you just understand that this definition encompasses this, that no person will be denied equal protection of law and equality before law by the state. Now, we were understanding that EBL is law is equal for each and everyone, and equal protection of law is equal for each and everyone, plus reasonable distinction is also allowed. Right? Now, I was saying that I will let you understand what is a reasonable distinction. Basically, reasonable distinction, or you may say reasonable discrimination, both will be same and both will be one and the same things. If you say reasonable distinction or the reasonable discrimination, both will be the same thing. Only we call this reasonable distinction as the positive distinction as well. We call it as the positive distinction as well. Why? See, two types of distinctions are done by the state. See, negative distinction is what? Which actually make people suffer. Negative discrimination is what? Which actually make people suffer. For example, in the earlier times, you would know better that SCs and STs, they were not allowed in the mandirs. They were not allowed in the society of scholars. They were not allowed to enter, right? Otherwise, Brahmins, they were allowed everywhere. So what is this? This kind of distinction is the negative distinction, and it made these STs suffer, right? On the other hand, gentlemen, if you see the positive distinction, for example, in the Indian Constitution, in the Article 46, which is BPSP, says that states shall work for the upliftment of the weaker section. States shall work for the upliftment of the weaker section. Now, when state make any provision for the advancement of weaker section, and state make any provision for the advancement of these weaker sections, then such an effort is called as the positive distinction. Right? Now we can understand that with the help of other examples as well. With the help of other examples as well, I will let you understand. Let's just say there are some people in the society, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, P8, and P9. Okay, let's just say these people are the most prosperous people, right? These people are the prosperous people. These people are those people who are basically, one among downtrodden, or you may say these were being subjected to the discrimination, subjected to social exploitation, right? These are the people who were actually not even counted in the society. Now, if I talk about these people, then you may, as per you see the Varna system of the society, as you see Varna system, which will encompass Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, right? And outside this, this list, we encompass untouchables. So basically, these Vaishya, Shudra, I will count here, and the untouchables, I will count here. Right? And these are the people who were the highest in the Varna system, Brahman and Kshatriya. Right? Now you can see, gentlemen, after the independence, not each and everyone got the equal ground to grow, equal ground to prosper. These people were having the better ground, right? Let's just say these P1, P2, and P3 were having this level, right? On the other hand, P4, P5, and P6 were having this ground, this level. whereas these P7, P8 and P9 people were having this ground. That means you can see they got an advantageous ground, they got an advantageous position. On the other hand, the other two classes of the society, they have got different lower grounds, right? So if I call this class A, this as the class B, and this as the class C, right? And if I classify people in such a manner, right, that P1, P2, P3 lie in the class 1, P2, P4, P5, P6 lie in class B, and P7, P8, P9 lies in the class C. This is the system of classification of society. And let me tell you, gentlemen, on this system only, this reservation concept is based, which will be understanding in the later on topics of the Article 15 and 16. Right? So society, the whole society from P1 to P9 is being actually classified into different classes. We have recognized the people according to their classes, and we have given them the name. For say, we gave them the name general category, OBC, SC, ST, right? Now, what does this equal protection of law says? That law is equal, but within a class. Within a class, this law is equal. That means for P1, P2 and P3 of same class people, law is equal. But for the second class, for the this OBC class, law will be acting in the another form. Right? If law is acting in certain manner for P1, P2, P3, for whom the circumstances are better, law will be acting according to their circumstance. Now same law is acting differently for the people of class B, because their circumstances are low. And this same law will be acting differently for the people who are on the bottommost position of the class. So basically, what does this equal protection of law says? That please go for the reasonable discrimination on the basis of intelligible differentia. It says that there shall be the reasonable discrimination on the basis of intelligible differentia. That means people belong to different class shall be treated differently by the law, not equally. If law shall be acting equally, then it should be acting equally, but within a class. Right? This is the concept of equal protection of the law, gentlemen. All right. Thank you very much.